Ran out to the garden and picked some tomatoes and some peppers. Got some banana peppers and some jalapenos. And I'm going to try to pickle those. So let's see how they turn out. I was out at the garden and I harvested a bunch of peppers. Didn't realize I only planted a few plants, but I didn't realize they were going to be so bountiful. So I had to figure out what I was going to do with all my harvest. I went on the internet and I found a simple pickled pepper recipe. And once I get these peppers washed up, we will continue. After I washed the peppers, I went ahead and cut the stems off, got the seeds out, and sliced them into rings. You don't have to ring them, you can just put them into long strips. And they're really simple to do. If I can get around the camera here, you just cut the top off, and inside you can see it's got all the seeds and the veins. And all I do is take my knife, go in and cut around, and they pop right out. Now of course it'll be got some veins and some seeds in there, and you can get those out. I don't worry about getting all the seeds out. Most of these are wax peppers. There are some jalapenos in there, and since I'm making a mixed batch, I'm not real concerned about getting every seed out because it's going to be a little warm. At least I'm hoping it will be. So next is a cup and a half of vinegar, a cup and a half of water, and 4 teaspoons of salt. The recipe didn't specify to use pickling salt or just regular salt. I had some kosher salt from an earlier recipe. I used it on this recipe and it worked fine. Put that on the stove and bring it to a low boil. I almost forgot, you're also going to need some garlic. The recipe called for 6 cloves cut lengthwise. I used 3 and that seemed to be okay for me and everyone else who tasted the peppers, but use as much as you like. While the vinegar and water and salt is coming to a boil, take your glass and heat it up. Some people say run it through your dishwasher. What I do is just get the faucet water as hot as it can be, put it inside and let it run over, and it warms up the bottle. You don't want to put in the jar. You don't want to put warm liquid in a cold jar because it could crack. That's why I have it in a plastic, just in case. And now while that's going, you just want to take your peppers and start feeding them in the jar, along with some garlic. I just kind of try to level them out here. Peppers and garlic, peppers and garlic. I try to pack them in there too. Cloves. Just get them in there. Looks like I might have not quite enough for 2. Okay. And now this is boiling. I'm going to carefully take the vinegar and water and salt mixture and pour it onto the peppers. Till you get to be about 1/4 of an inch from the top. Get it back in focus here. Kind of try to remove some of the air bubbles. And if you need a little bit more liquid, just go ahead and add it. What I did with my top, it's kind of like canning. Of course the lighting in here is terrible. I need to get a magnet. So I heat my top up, set that on there, take the ring. I'm going to have to set you down. And tighten down. So right now it's loose. As jar cools down, the liquid cools down, it should seal itself if I've done everything right. So hopefully, it says in about 3 hours. It's taken anywhere from a half hour to 2 hours for me so far, but we shall see. So it took about a half hour for the seal to pop. Next, just let it sit on the counter for 24 hours, and then after that you can put it in your refrigerator. One thing I do want to tell you about, that little blue chunk in there, that is some garlic. I noticed that the garlic turned blue the first couple of times I've done this, and at first I thought, oh my gosh, what did I do wrong? So I looked it up on the internet, and it said it's natural for garlic and onions to change color. So I've already had a jar. I use it in salads, some salsas. It's pretty good. One thing I do want to remind you, when you're cutting up your peppers, do not touch your eyes with your hands. That's a rookie mistake that I did the very first time I did it. It was hot and humid that day. Wiped the sweat out of my eyes and immediately was sorry I did. So give this recipe a try with all those extra peppers you're getting from your garden, and hopefully you'll like it.